Hey, Rob Aubrey here. Thanks for joining us on Insider Training. Today we're going to be talking about a thing I call show up, tell the truth, don't be attached. Okay? So thanks for joining us. So here we are. So let's dive into it. Show up, tell the truth, don't be attached. Let's talk about that. Show up. What does that mean, right? So one, there's physically, show up physically. And what do I mean by physically, right? Number one, on time, right? And if you're on a listing appointment, I want you to pull up 15 minutes early. I want you to be in there doing affirmations in the car. They're looking out the window. They know you're there. They're like, all right, well, he's on time. He's early, so that's good. That's a good sign, right? And they're like, what's he doing in the car, And so then, a couple minutes before, say 5 up, get there 15 minutes early, 5 minutes before the appointment time, you knock on the door and, you go there and, you're showing up. That's showing up, dressed appropriately. And I don't mean you have to be in an Armani suit or anything, but appropriate for the clientele you're dealing with. Have a nice shirt, not shorts and t-shirts. So have a nice collar shirt, ironed and pressed, a nice pair of sleeves. They can be jeans, but nice shoes, right? So, jeans and nice shoes, maybe a sport coat, no tie. You don't need a tie. I think the Armani kind of Joe LA look, I think, is overkill in this climate anymore, especially in the Utah climate. Utah's a little more casual. Now, there are some demographics that would go for that. We talked about that in geographic and demographic farming. If you're working divorce attorneys, maybe showing up like that is a little different. But we're talking about something completely different. We're talking about just good old folks that are going to sell their home. So we're going to use a listing presentation or a listing appointment throughout this. Show up, tell the truth, don't be attached. So that's physically show up, right? On time, dressed appropriately. Now let's talk about mentally, right? So you have to be mentally prepared, right? You have to be, you can't be thinking about the deal that just failed. I know that's a challenge sometimes. You can't be thinking about, I got to get milk, I got to, or I'm having problems at home, whatever. That stuff mentally, it can't be there. Just can't. You can't bring it with you. I'm sorry. I know everybody's got problems. Their problems right now are the only ones that matter. Yours don't matter to them. They're trying to sell their house. They have a problem they're trying to solve. You're a problem solver. That's what you do. Solve your problems on your time. We're going to solve their problems on their time. So that's physically and mentally, right? Now let's talk about spiritually, right? So what do I mean by spiritually, right? So when you show up, you're spiritually, meaning their best interest is what you have in mind, right? They're the only people that matter. So I'm here. I exist to serve your needs. I exist. Every fiber of my being oozes out. I exist to serve you. So that's showing up spiritually. And you can't fake that. You have to be sincere about that. In other words, their needs have to come above your own. And see, when they believe that, when they feel it, because they do it, they feel it, they'll crawl across the table and sign a contract with you, right? So show up physically, mentally, and spiritually, okay? That's showing up, okay? So, excuse me. So now let's tell the truth. And I'm not insinuating you're lying or anything like that, but sometimes we don't want to hurt people's feelings, so we kind of dance the truth a little bit. Maybe like soften the blow a little bit. So let's say you walk into a listing appointment, and they smoke, it smells, they got 3 or 4 indoor dogs, they got cats with litter boxes, there's reptiles over there. The place stinks to the high heavens. And so, with cigarettes and animals and all that kind of stuff. It hasn't been updated, since the 80s, it's got dark cabinets, maybe there's a powder room that still has the foil paper from the 70s, just things like that. It's just, the carpet's soiled and worn. You get the picture, right? So there's an expression that says, call a spade a spade. So, but call a spade, but not a dirty, rotten shovel. Okay? So it's not a dirty, rotten shovel. But we're going to tell the truth. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, obviously that a lot of people in Utah are, don't like cigarette smoke smell. It's they just don't like it. Not everybody appreciates pets the way you do. I love dogs, but not everybody does. You have cats. There's cat dander that comes with that. Some people are allergic to it. Things like that. Not everybody appreciates your decor. So you have to tell them the truth, but don't beat them over the head and call them a dirty, rotten shovel. But tell them the truth. They deserve the truth. And the professional tells them the truth. The non-professional dances around it. So be a professional, tell them the truth. Okay? And then the third one, you can't be attached to the outcome. If you don't get the listing because you told them the truth, so be it. See, when you're attached to the outcome, you run the risk of violating integrity. You run the risk. I'm not accusing you of it, but that's what being attached can do. Because you're like, well, if I have to have this listing, then you may start saying things that maybe not lying, but maybe leaving out some truths, right? I mean, tell them the truth in a professional manner, but you cannot be attached to the outcome. Let the chips fall where they fall. So that's show up, tell the truth, don't be attached. Just be a professional about it. Like I said, don't beat them over the head and call them a dirty, rotten shovel. Just call a spade a spade. So think about that. If you have any questions with that, I can coach you through that. Call me 801-999-8209. Thanks. Make it an awesome day.